Bottom line, there is no defending what he said. But why shouldn't CNN look past it now, the way Fox certainly would? Why? Because now the mob on the left is calling for his head, and the mob on the right has been calling for it for years. Take issue with Don Lemon. Criticize him for this absurd tangent he went on. But should he really be ousted for one stupid comment? My standard for giving the boot is much higher than that. Joining me now is Susan Harmeling. She wrote a piece for Forbes titled, quote, "Don Lemon needs to resign or be fired immediately." Thanks so much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. All right, so what do you think I'm getting wrong here?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me, Dan. I'm not going to argue with the hypocrisy at Fox News, and I'm just not going to go there because I think you're right about that. And I think that, if CNN's going to hold themselves to that standard, I mean, that's a really low bar. I guess the first reaction I had to this is I felt like I was watching an episode of Mad Men instead of a morning show. It was not just cringeworthy. I saw it as more than that. I saw it as sort of workplace bullying, abuse. Ask any woman who's been in a work setting who's been treated like that and spoken to like that, what they think of that or how they felt about it. I can tell you I've had hundreds and now thousands of people, reading this, what I wrote, and really agreeing with me and getting a lot of feedback that women are tired of this kind of behavior. And the other thing I think you might be getting wrong is this guy should be the leader of this team. He's the by far most senior person here. He should know better. He really should know better than to speak like that. And it was sort of as I wrote in my article, sort of a sick play saying, to these young women, I'm well past 50 and I hope not past my prime, by the way. But he was saying, you have an expiration date in 10 years and you have an expiration date in 20 years, but I can keep going on. That is literally 50s and 60s stuff. And yeah, Fox News does it, but does that make it right for CNN? And is that a good idea for CNN just to allow that? So that's one thing.
All right, let me focus first on let me focus first on the bullying aspect. All right, let's talk just about what we saw on the air, right? There's been commentary and allegations about things that happen off the air, but let's talk about what we just saw. I don't see what we just saw as bullying. I saw what we just saw as ignorant, dumb, and something that you ought to catch. But the idea that that's bullying, to me, is a typical sort of lefty kind of word that we use in every time someone says something that's a little bit offensive, et cetera. I mean, this is about someone who said something problematic. It's not about bullying his co-host, is it?
Okay, how about subconscious bullying? Because it came across as a bullying comment. And I think, once again, if you asked women of any age how that would make them feel and how it did make us feel just watching it. So whether or not you want to call it bullying, and by the way, I think if you read some of the things that I've written, I'm neither a right-winger nor a left-winger. I'm a common sense, middle-of-the-road person who's trying to look for common sense answers to these kinds of episodes.
I didn't mean to sweep you with any broad brush. I was specifically referring to that comment. So, but
yeah, I think it came, whether or not it was intended to be bullying, I think it came across as bullying, actually. And as a real jab, and as I also wrote in the article, women know that feeling of being, and people in minority groups and LGBTQ
which he's both of which he's a member of. So is his apology not enough? I mean, so the apologies are never enough. That's my concern. Is someone says something like this, he apologizes, it's never enough, right?
I disagree, because I think that sometimes when you are forced to make an apology and your first reaction is, I have it right here, sorry I said it, and I see why people find it completely misguided. Dude, apologize. It was so bad what I said. I offended people, but he didn't. It was kind of this, I'm a big man, I can admit when I'm wrong. It's kind of, you don't have to praise yourself in an apology. Just be humble and say, I screwed up.
If the apology had been clearer, would you be willing to give him a pass?
What do you mean by willing to give him a pass?
Meaning willing to say he shouldn't be fired from CNN or even suspended for the comment.
Probably not in this case.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.